most of the people we serve, when it gets right down to it, are going to die on the streets.
Hiding the homeless guests in plain sight, what does that mean?
The fact that they can go out into the community and blend in.
Making sure they have fresh laundry every week and a haircut, that they're seeing our medical team. It cuts back on them being picked on and being identified as someone being homeless.
Just to be able to look people in the eye and know that people can look back at them and judge them less than they would if they were dirty, stinky.
When they just blend in, that's good for them. It's good for the community. We've done such a good job cleaning up. People are going, oh, it looks like the homeless community has just disappeared.
If we didn't open, they'd find out really quick.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy Lewis with We Are Winter Garden, and we are joined here by Pastor Scott, who is the founder and CEO of Matthew's Hope, and Shelley Bradford, who is the president and executive director of Matthew's Hope. Welcome to episode 57 of Straight Talk, No BS with Matthew's Hope, where we are going to be talking about what it means to hide the homeless in plain sight. But before we do that, Shelley, can you explain to the listeners and the viewers where we are?
We are in our Hope Chest Creation store. It is a beautiful store with antiques, furniture that we have had donated to us, that we sometimes will just put out on the floor, and other times we will actually refinish it. We have the same store over in Brevard, and each store has its own vibe. You know, that store over there has more accessories as well as large furniture, and you know, both stores have jewelry and holiday items and things like that. But if you ever want to just come in and get something unique for your home, this is the place to come for sure. I have bought several things for my home from here.
It really is. I love it here.
There's some cool stuff. And I always remind people too that we typically, pretty much everything in here is a hardwood.
Yes.
So the joke I always say is when theirs falls off the truck, just keep driving. There's not enough to pick it up. When ours falls off the truck, go back and get it, because it just has a little more character, like the people that put it together. So yeah. A lot of vintage stuff. It's cool.
Great. Well, Scott, you often talk about your mission of hiding the homeless guests in plain sight. What does that mean?
Well, you know, part of it was me coming to terms that as much as I wanted to move everybody towards a life of independence and self-sustainability, initially my thought was this is going to take some time. And again, going back 15 years ago. And in that time, how do I help these people to start building dignity and quite honestly, sometimes just quit being picked on.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had this idea that we would start doing haircuts and showers and what have you. And it's turned into laundry and medical care and all the other things we do now. But the idea behind it, the truth is that most of the people we serve, when it gets right down to it, are going to die on the streets. And I hate saying that, but it's true. But when we can help them to better the quality of their life in some way, whether it's helping them get medications they need, making sure they have fresh laundry every week and a haircut, that they're seeing our medical team, what have you, it cuts back on them being picked on and being identified as someone being homeless. They look like everybody else, you know, you're just making an assumption. So
Shelley, with all of these services that you guys provide your guests, how does that benefit them?
So, you know, I'm going to piggyback off of what Scott said. The fact that they can go out into the community and blend in is huge, because that is the less, there's going to be a less possibility of them being harassed. People, you know, turning their noses up at them. There's more of a possibility of them getting a job. You know, that's really going to be a huge thing for our guests, just to be able to look people in the eye if they want to, and know that people can look back at them and judge them less than they would if they were dirty, stinky, smelly, with messy hair.
Right. Well, when it takes the attention off them also.
Right.
As much as I hate to say this, is that often it might keep them from getting arrested.
That's true.
When people are calling about someone who doesn't look quite right, that often leads to other problems. And so it plays a role in that as well.
Absolutely.
And how does the sense of dignity increase someone's chances of getting out of homelessness?
Jobs. They can easily get jobs, you know, because we work to set them up to make sure they have their IDs, they have a address. So, and then now we're going to work to give them that sense of dignity back to where they can actually go out and get a job as well.
Makes sense. And how does hiding your guests in plain sight benefit the community?
No.
Well, I mean, we've said it before. If we didn't open, they'd find out really quick, because if we've got a bunch of homeless people who can't shower, who don't have a place to get clean clothes or have their clothes laundered, that's going to affect the community pretty quick. On the front of one of our magazines, it shows what happens if we were to disappear.
Well, it cuts back huge on, nobody likes panhandling.
Right.
But when it's not going to stop panhandling. Okay, panhandling won't stop until people quit handing stuff out their window. But it limits it because they're getting the basic needs taken care of. We all have basic needs, and those are being cared for. And when that happens, things like panhandling kind of disappeared. I remember years ago, and I'm not even sure if John Reese remembers saying it, but he was talking about the homeless in Winter Garden. He's the mayor. And he said, we have the cleanest, most well-behaved homeless anywhere. And I think that was a great way to explain it, is that when they just blend in, that's good for them. It's good for the community. There's people that support us, and I know they could care less about the homeless. That they just don't. What they care about is the homeless roaming around in their community.
Right.
And so, to me, as long as it takes care of that need, and we can be a good neighbor to the entire community, not just the homeless, that's a big deal to me.
So these services sound very key, not only for your guests, but the community. Are there any downsides to hiding the guests in plain sight?
Yes. No, and that's one reason we did, we those of that don't know, we publish a quarterly magazine called Moving Forward, and we talk about stories of our partnerships in the communities that we serve. We talk about the services we have, our supporters, all kinds of things. One of the challenges we've actually had was we've done such a good job of cleaning up that people are going, oh, it looks like the homeless community has just disappeared.
Oh.
And
we
know,
understanding this crisis.
Right. Yes. Well, we can drive down through the middle of whether it's Brevard County or here in Orange County. And often you might not know, when I say you, folks that are watching or listening might not know that person's homeless, but we know who they are and we know their name.
And people who volunteer with us know their name. And if you don't know, you don't know.
Right. Well, a lot of people, they think just because you look dirty or this or that, they put judgment on it and you're homeless. Do you know of any other organization that put the same amount of effort in hiding the homelessness in plain sight?
No. I think that I think a lot of, again, we've talked about this, and we will always talk about the relationship aspect of it, though. There's more to addressing homelessness than handing somebody some free clothing. We're going to make sure they have their basics, and then we're going to give them an opportunity to work for those things they need and sometimes that they want. My feelings are, if you're willing to put the work in, you can have just about anything that you could possibly want or need. But
as long as it moves you forward.
Right. And thank you, because it's important to understand that just because you want, I thought about boom box again, and I just realized I'm aging myself.
A speaker. We have people that want to work for speakers all the time.
They want to. Okay.
How does that move you forward? How is that going to make your life better?
Sure.
Now, there is times when, if you have someone who's really, let's say they've worked and they've gotten their birth certificate and they've gotten they're going to school, they're doing these other things that they can earn through Matthew's Hope. Then there's an occasion where we may say, yeah, we'll let you get that speaker.
Sure.
Okay. But the priority is, we're a catch and release program. Okay. Most places catch you and keep you. We're catch and release. We want to eventually see you leave, be able to stand on your own 2 feet and be able to support yourself. And so that's one thing that really separates us from a lot. But I honestly don't, and it's not because I founded Matthew's Hope, it's because I've looked hard and long. I know very few organizations nationwide that go to the extent that we do. And I don't think that makes us better. I just think that we've stepped back and we're constantly evolving The other day, I'll just throw this out there. One of the holes that we're seeing right now is there's no place to detox people.
Mm.
There's no place, there's no drug programs
Right.
that we can on a regular basis connect with to help people move forward. And Shelley says to me the other day, she goes, "So when are we going to open up our own
Yeah.
drug rehab place?"
Well, we have a friend that if he goes to search for a business and he can't find it, he just opens one. And I'm like, why can't we do that for the homeless?
Yeah. And like she said to me, she goes, "And Scott, you've kind of done that over the years. You see a hole, you fill it."
Yeah.
That's a big hole.
That is a big hole.
But the problem is now she's planted that seed in my head, and I've been kind of praying about that and asking some questions. And I don't know where it's going to go. But here's what's more important: if we don't do it, somebody needs to. But know that if they do it, then we can catch those people on the other end. What we're really good at is if somebody does come up with some type of addiction, and they've gone through a short addiction program, because most of them are anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. We catch them on the other end and move them through our Moving Forward program. We send them on their way.
What a great partnership that would be.
That would be
Wouldn't
huge.
it be?
And
Yes.
we've had some in the past. They typically disappear for whatever reason, usually due to funding or how the government and what the government's funding at the time.
So the idea of hiding in plain sight extends beyond your guests and into your buildings and campuses. Why is it so important to not look like a homeless outreach? Because I know sometimes you guys get
Yeah.
backlash.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that. And we've talked about this before. You go to certain shelters and they just look run down. Why do you want to be there? I want somebody to come into our space and it feel homey. It feel like they want to be there, not like, well, they just put this together for us so that we could shower and it doesn't matter if it looks ratty.
Do they
and
care
dumpy.
about me?
Right.
Is it
and
safe?
Right.
And it has backfired on us some, because there's people that think that that's what we're spending our money on. If they would ask questions, they would discover that what happens is a lot of that work is being done by, in many cases, the homeless themselves. If you're a homeless carpenter and I need carpentry work done, why not?
Right.
We have had them do on all our projects, and we've had pretty much projects going for 15 years straight. I can assure people that often it was homeless people that did the demo work. It was the homeless people that were the helpers. And in some case, it was the homeless person that was taking the lead, laying the flooring or putting in the baseboards or painting and those kind of things. That's true in our houses, in our schools, in our medical offices. Every place you look, that is true. Same thing with our vehicles. Someone says, well, you have all these new vehicles. Most of our vehicles are 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
But every few days, they're being washed and taken care of because we want to be good stewards.
And do your guests do these projects or these jobs for free?
No. They are able to do what we call, within our Moving Forward program, they're allowed to earn points. Points are backed by real dollars. Okay, so you can't spend them anywhere except through Matthew's Hope. But what you can do is almost anything. We've had people have their teeth replaced. We have a guy that just today is having his second eye done for his cataracts and for his vision.
Life changing.
Yes.
He's worn glasses since he was 6 years old that look like Coke bottles.
Oh, yeah. They're thick.
Okay, and every time he would go to read something, whatever, I'd see him kind of go like, oh. Okay. And the other day, he's in the kitchen and he's cutting onions. And I'm thinking, Rick with a knife? I don't know if that's a great idea.
Where are his
And I
fingers?
just realized he doesn't have glasses on because he already had the one eye done, and it was enough for him to get it done.
How
But
exciting.
then Rick, after that, when he gained his sight back, he's earned new teeth. He's done all these things. He's worked his way into housing, and his new goal is to be our first graduate in Brevard. So, but that was all a buildup. If you saw his picture in our magazine, this guy looked as homeless. He looked,
And he's a handsome guy. He is.
he could, if you put him in the right situation, the guy could be the Marlboro Man kind of guy,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
He's got that kind of rugged look.
Yeah.
We actually got some pictures of him where he's got like one leg up behind him, kind of leaning against the wall. And even he had to laugh because, he had this massive beard, long hair. He wore his hats and raggedy clothes. And his life is so different now. And it turns out the guy was and I'm not that smart, so I'm going to say this wrong. how do you say it when they do plants?
Horticulturalist. I don't think I even said it right. Horticulturalist. Yeah.
You come on, you guys are smarter than us. You'll know what it is. He works with frickin' plants. But the thing is, no,
He's
the
a plant
reality
guy.
is, you would sit there.
He's got a green thumb for sure.
Oh, he does all our landscaping. I'm sitting there going, why am I paying a landscaper when I got a guy who's trained in this? And I remember the first time he picked up the dirt, he let it roll. And I'm going like, it's like he's making love to the dirt. Okay.
Yeah.
And he says, here's what this dirt is missing.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And so even with that,
Yeah.
now you throw on the vision that, and it's kind of a veer off of what we're talking about. That's the kind of stuff that happens through our Moving Forward program, through people earning their way. There's no dignity in me giving somebody something.
So how does keeping up with the appearances benefit the surrounding community?
Part of it is just being a good neighbor. But there's what's the word I'm looking for? There's a stigma against homelessness. So automatically when people see that I'm bringing a homeless ministry into their community, much less their neighborhood, people got pretty riled up. They didn't know what it was and they weren't asking. They were just spreading all kinds of interesting rumors. And particularly in Brevard, and it happened here when we built our houses, our transitional homes here in Winter Garden, people were shocked. And what ended up happening now is that whole right off the main road there is all being redone houses. And I assure you that started with us, a dozen years ago. In Brevard, what's interesting is not only have we turned it into just a beautiful campus, but we turned the old church building. It was an old Methodist church. So it's about 38,000 square feet of building now. And so we have everything at both locations, the Firm Foundation preschools and the medical offices and our laundry service and hair salons, all those things. But what we did is all of a sudden we have this building that can sit like close to 600 people. And so we turned it into a wedding and an event venue.
Wow.
And in just the last couple of weeks, we've done a wedding for 250. The following day, Sunday afternoon, after the church that we rent to left, we did a funeral for 560, followed by a concert that Thursday for a few hundred, followed by a party for a man that would turn 100 years old that Saturday, and that was followed by a corporate event on Sunday that took the whole campus, the outreach center and everything. So it's not only created an income stream for the ministry, but it also, interesting enough, is I just got a text right before we sat down for this, is just this week, Courtney, our venue director for Trinity Oaks, we call it Trinity Oaks of Matthew's Hope, has 20 calls right now for people that want to rent the venue.
That's exciting.
Okay, now think about that. I want to go have my wedding at a homeless outreach. Who says that?
I would get married there. It's so beautiful. I would get married there.
It is very beautiful. The trees, the windows on the church, the
When
campus itself is just very beautiful.
You see those
well.
oaks lit up with the lights every night?
Gosh, I remember when you had that idea. I was like, you want to do what?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
the initial thought.
Yes.
well, even spending the money for it, because you sat there and went, okay, we got to, it's kind of like taking a roll of the dice and you're hoping you hit.
Yeah.
And we hit.
It was a good choice
We
for
hit.
sure.
I love it.
I still blame it on Charlene. I still call them Charlene's trees.
Yeah.
So not so much now. Now I thank her that because she really was first her. She goes, wouldn't those oak trees be beautiful if they were lit up? And I went, yeah, they really would be. And
Great idea.
here we go.
That's
You know,
great. I love
She
it.
stuck it in my head and on it went from there.
So if anybody needs a
See,
space,
so I might get my detox center.
Who knows? It's rolling around in my head now. The lights are blinking.
So with all of these services, with the campus, with the venue, that's a lot of money. I can't imagine. What are you guys doing to fund that? What could you use from the community to help the guests hide in plain sight, to help them move forward? All of these things that you guys are providing for them.
The best way that you can, support us is go to our social media, see what our immediate needs are. That is the best way. Besides, financial donations, sustaining donors would be so helpful for us because then we would know how to budget, how to prepare. When we know we have sustaining donors, There's certain sustaining donors I see every month, and it just makes me really smile because I'm like, okay, good. They're still there to help us. And I know I can depend on that money, whether it be, $14 a month or $50 a month or $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge whenever we have sustaining donors, as well as people who go to our social media sites and see what our immediate needs are.
Okay.
We try to make our needs easily known by social media. Because again, people want to help. I think often what we find is they want to know specifically what do you need, and we're able to do that. And we update that at least twice a week, whether it's food, clothing, hygiene, or what have you. And the other part, if you're in Central Florida, you want a just amazing venue. We've actually got some people coming in from Orlando, which is an hour away, but we worked out with a hotel down on Cocoa Beach that people want to stay on the beach for the weekend when they come for a wedding. They can do that at a fair price. So, we're always looking for ways to be good stewards of the money that's given to us. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You, as a donor, I look at you as an investor, and investors should expect a return on their investment.
For sure.
You aren't going to get the money back like that. But if you're watching us, if you keep up with our magazine, our social media, you're going to see the stories of life's changes, and you're going to know that your money help make that possible. And that's what's so critical about it. We have events throughout the year. We're doing concerts now over in Brevard. We just had a wonderful, cool concert, and it was open to the public. And it didn't pay all the bills. We got to raise like $41,000 a day. But we made a few $1,000s for a couple hours that everybody enjoyed. And it also allowed people to come on the campus.
That maybe you wouldn't have.
Yes. And that's, I think the biggest thing is a lot of people came to see the band. They really didn't know
where they were coming.
Was.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it a lot. We showed a short little video, but I can tell you that people stayed afterwards asking questions, how they could get involved, didn't understand what we did, talked about how beautiful it was, and how could they partner with us. And that was, when people say, how can we partner with you? That's the greatest question you can ask us.
So let's continue to do that. I invite you all who are listening and watching us today to like, share, subscribe, talk to your family, talk to your kids, and see how we can help each other, how we can help Matthew's Hope with all of this life changing that is happening in our community. Thank you for watching and listening.